guys, and welcome to today's Los Blancos podcast. Today we'll be discussing the Real Madrid win against Pachuca. A very good win in which I thought Real Madrid played really well, actually, for once. And yeah, probably was our best victory in at least a goddamn while. It was a fantastic win, probably since that Man City game. So that's almost 6 months ago now. At this point, it's crazy, but it was a great win. One in which we struggled from the beginning. We had a problem from the beginning, which was Raul Asensio got himself sent off stupidly, but we dealt with it. We figured out a way to play without Raul Asensio. We figured out a way to control the ball, get the ball into key positions, and make things happen from there. Now, what I will say is that this wasn't a game in which we were just so dominant that Pachuca just couldn't handle us. That wasn't the case. But it was a game in which we adapted to the situation. We created good chances, quality chances through good patterns of play, and eventually we scored from them. And a lot of the times we don't see that from Real Madrid, and under Ancelotti definitely didn't see that from Real Madrid. So the fact is that this is a huge step forward in a couple of days ago where we really struggled against Al Hilal. So this is really promising from Real Madrid. The fact that we see this level of progression from just 3 days of game. So that's fantastic. Let's start with the patterns of play because I want to discuss that first. I thought it was really good. So basically what we did instead of last game, Xabi Alonso made a couple of adjustments, changed a couple things. Most notably was he dropped Rodrigo, put in Arda Güler, and we kind of saw it happening in the second half of that game against Al Hilal, but it wasn't enough for us to score a goal in that game. But this game, we came out and we played Arda on through the middle more. Like it was a fluid performance by Arda Güler. He was coming through in all sorts of positions, and it gave us so much more control. It gave us so much more ability to impact the game, make those incisive passes. And Arda just looks like a kid reborn. He looks a lot more confident than he was before. He looks a lot more ready to take on Real Madrid than before. And so, it's fantastic to see Arda playing with that level of confidence, and hopefully that's something that Xabi Alonso continues to instill in him, because it makes him look great. I've got to say, once again, this wasn't a game in which we created just a barrage of chances where we just had loads of high volume, good quality chances. That's not the case. We had a couple of very good chances that we took, and apart from that was it. We didn't create too many chances, but I want to focus on those chances that we created, because I thought in terms of that we created some very good chances. We scored. In fact, we created 3 really good chances to score, and we scored from them, which is fantastic work from Real Madrid. We know Real Madrid are quite clinical when it comes to it. So the fact is, we create those chances, we're going to most likely score out of them. So I'm very happy with that. I want to talk about Gonzalo Garcia because I thought he was very impressive in this win. That's two performances where he started and 2 performances in which he was fantastic. There's pretty good correlation there. I think he was the key, in my opinion, to unlocking this Real Madrid attack. Because, a lot of the times with our guys up top, we think about all the extraordinary things that they do. But when we look at Gonzalo Garcia, he's not an extraordinary player. I don't think Gonzalo is going to be something... he's not going to be some freak of nature up top. He's not that level. He's not. But what I do see from Gonzalo Garcia is somebody who's going to keep things simple, who's going to do the right thing most of the time, and he's going to just make an impact in terms of that. The first goal, well, it was a simple flick. Most of our attackers can probably do that, but most of our attackers won't do that in the opportunity. So I think Gonzalo made that pass, flicked it on behind, and that was a huge part in which how we broke away, from the pressure. So I think Gonzalo's really making a difference in that, in terms of the fact that he's dropping a little bit deeper and helping us get out of that pressure. And then the second goal, I think, was probably even better because, if it was Kylian Mbappe or Vinicius Jr. in that position, I would probably reckon they would have just taken the ball and tried to shoot, probably been blocked. But it was the fact that Gonzalo had the awareness to watch Arda running through the defense and have no defenders on him. And I think the one of the most important things is last season we really missed the presence of Hosselu. Not just due to his goals, but the fact that he often not just brought two defenders with him, no matter what. And I think in that goal you definitely saw it. Gonzalo Garcia had three defenders around him. Yeah, the two centre backs plus the midfielder who was covering. So you had three guys pulled out of the possession, nobody tracking Arda Güler, and he was smart enough to make that decision to play in Arda Güler, and Arda just had a free one-on-one with the keeper. It's stuff like that which is, yeah, simple. Me and you can watch the game and be like, that's pretty simple, but our players weren't doing it. So it's important to have that in this team. So I think Gonzalo Garcia to begin has been fantastic. I couldn't expect anything better from him, to be totally honest. This has been really damn good, and it does raise the questions about what we do with him in the future, because we were talking about a potential departure to Celta. I think it was 50%, where we got 50% of the rights to him. But now I don't think he's leaving. I don't think there's a chance of him leaving at this point. He's going to be involved in the squad because of his two fantastic performances, and it's rightfully so. Now the question has to be had about Endrick. What happens to Endrick then? Because if Gonzalo Garcia stays and plays like this, which, when we're watching Gonzalo, it's just he's making so many smart plays, which, yeah, he's not got the striking ability of Endrick. He's not got the technical ability of Endrick, but he's making good decisions. He's making better decisions than Endrick has ever done for Real Madrid. So, it does raise the question of what happens to Endrick. Now, obviously, I think Endrick is just so young. He's 18, and so they're on different timelines at the end of the day. So I don't think it's going to cause too many issues this season. But I think it's something for Xabi Alonso to consider. When Endrick comes back from his injury, let's test Endrick out. Let's give Endrick the opportunity to do the exact same thing that Gonzalo did, and maybe Endrick can also do it. We'll find out. I think, what should we talk about? Trent was much improved from his first game. First game he looked shaky defensively, but not amazing going forward. It wasn't bad by any means, but it wasn't impressive. But this game, much improved from Trent. Really good on the ball. Just he raised the IQ of this team so much, and with his ability on the ball, and defensively he was fine. There was nothing wrong with his performance. So I think, yeah, and that's all I want from Trent defensively is a fine. I don't really care about if he's going to play a right back, then you just need a fine performance from Trent. Nothing too amazing. So yeah, I think Trent was much improved, and that's good to see. It's definitely something that is good to see. And also shout out to Dean Huysen, who's absolutely fantastic. I thought going forward on the ball, he was just imperious. And I saw somebody talking about how he is the replacement to Toni Kroos, and I completely see it. His ability to dictate the play from defence is actually fantastic, and allows us to commit more men going forward, which is really valuable to have, actually. So I'm really happy with Dean Huysen's performance, and hopefully, this can be a continued thing from Dean. And he's obviously now lost Raul Asensio for, I don't know how many games it's going to be for Raul Asensio, maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, I don't know. But he's going to have to switch the defensive partner. Good news is that Antonio Rudiger is back, so at least we've got an actual centre back to play alongside him. But so far, 2 games out of 2, Dean Huysen looks like an absolute fantastic signing. And to think that we're about to miss out on him to Chelsea or something, it would have been an absolute disaster in my opinion if we had missed out on Dean, because he is just such a difference maker from defence. So I'm really happy that we got him. I think I want to talk about Rodrigo and his future at Real Madrid, because this performance really raised questions. Because the first game, there was a very clear, from the whole team, I'm not just going to single out Rodrigo for this, but from the whole team, there was a real lack of effort from Real Madrid in that first game. But the fact is that and Xabi Alonso made the difference to switch him out for Rodrigo, out for Arda. And in this game, this team looked reinvigorated. It looked like it had a second life despite being one man down. So I think the question has to be asked now: what happens to Rodrigo? Because it's like he continues to put in the bad performances like Vinicius, but he hasn't got the ceiling like Vinicius. So that's the difference. I'm worried for him because I do think that on the current path there is only one inevitability, which is him heading to Arsenal. I don't want it to be true. I want him to make it around Madrid, but it's just like he's not helping himself in any way. Talking to guys talking about himself being a left winger striker, or playing as a 10, then going onto the pitch showing like you've got no effort. It's just not great from Rodrigo. It's not a great look, and when he's off the pitch, we're playing better. So for me, it looks like we're gonna struggle. He's gonna struggle. He's gonna struggle to get minutes because Arda has already displeased him, to be honest, in the lineup, because that was a much improved performance when Arda was playing compared to Rodrigo. He helps in every single way, even defensively. Arda is just helping us more than Rodrigo is, which is crazy, but it's true. So I'm worried for Rodrigo's sake. I also want to talk about Vinicius. It was another poor performance in my opinion. It wasn't as bad as the previous one against Al Hilal. It was a little bit better, but it's still still not the Vinicius we need. And it's very clear to me that this team will live or die by Vinicius Junior. Because if Vinicius is playing at the top of his game, we will win a Champions League. We win Champions League. We have won Champions Leagues. But if Vinicius is playing like this, you saw how our season went last season. So everything is on Vinicius Junior. At the end of the day, he needs to improve. Like yesterday, he was okay. There was nothing inherently. I mean, there was actually the fact that he just kept turning the ball over in stupid positions. He was just continually making the wrong decision, and I think there's only so long it can go before Vinicius is bound to make a good decision. It's the law of averages. You're gonna eventually continue to make the right decisions. And I hate how Real Madrid fans are suddenly now turning on Vinicius, saying Vinicius out. It's 6 months. With 6 months of Vinicius really poor football. We've seen Vinicius go through bad patches, and we've seen Vinicius come out the other end even better. So I just don't understand why some Real Madrid fans don't want to just help Vinicius and be supportive in this way. Obviously, I'm criticising Vinicius. I understand that, but there's a fine line between criticising and calling for him to leave, which is, I'm just not going that far. I want to see Vinicius play bad. If I see Vinicius play bad for 1 year straight with no positives, fine, I understand it. But 6 months face of football, like, give him some time. Let him find his feet again, and hopefully, because this team is better when Vinicius is at his best. There's no doubt about it. So I just think we need to have a little bit of patience with Vinicius. I know it's going to be hard. Watching him play like this is very hard. I understand that, but have a little bit of patience with a guy who at his peak played at Ballon d'Or level. So have a little bit of patience. Jude was much improved as well from the previous game. Previous game it just looked like he should have just gone and got the surgery. But this game he looked reinvigorated defensively. Really intense. Going forward, he looked fantastic, and that finish was fantastic. Just perfect finish. Just he looked a step ahead of the Pachuca defenders. So really improved performance from him. I thought Schumann was good defense when he dropped back into defense. Did his job well. Good. Some people were criticising Fede after the last game as well. I understand it. Well, he didn't have a great game last time, but this time, Fede much improved performance. Just sweeping up and doing all the legwork. This is like a vintage Federico Valverde performance. So keeping it going. Hopefully, next game we can continue, and hopefully at some point he can get some goddamn rest, because it's getting ridiculous now. So soon hopefully he can get some rest. I don't want to talk about Raul Asensio as well before I finish this up. It was a poor decision by him to do that. I mean, it's a light decision for sure, but it's the right decision. Like he does that. He's the last defender. Rondon's always going to go down there. It's just like, obviously it's going to be a red. So it was a stupid decision. That's two stupid decisions in a row. It's obviously not great for him. Under a new manager coming in, and doing this. But I still have faith in Raul Asensio that he can bounce back, because we saw what he could do last season. So hopefully he can get back to normal once he's served his suspension. So like I said before, we've got Rudiger at least back, so that's fine. Goalkeeper Courtois was fantastic this game as well. Really solid performance from him. And I think that's where we're going to wrap it up. I think Brahim Diaz wasn't great off the bench, and same as Modric. I don't think he was that great, but overall, much improved from Real Madrid. I'm really happy with the fact that we come out and perform like this. It was testament to the fact that this team is different, a new era, and the fact that we made this much difference in 4 days of training, or 3 days, whatever it was, since the last game. It's huge to see. Now we go and carry ourselves out to Salzburg. We have to try and beat Salzburg. I'm not sure what's the group looking at like at this point in time. Let me just quickly load that shit up. So first Real Madrid, second RB Salzburg. Then Al Hilal drew yesterday, which is quite interesting. So yeah, Real Madrid first, Salzburg second, Al Hilal third, and Pachuca fourth. So if we win on the final match day against Salzburg, we will finish top, which it's not bad. It's not bad work from us. And then we'll play either Juve or Manchester City in the knockouts, depending on what their match is like. So yeah, that's it for me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this performance, this Los Blancos podcast, and that Real Madrid performance, because it was definitely needed. After the first game against Al Hilal, I'm excited to go and watch the Salzburg game as well, and hopefully Real Madrid can win that one as well. But that's it for me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.